This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hi everybody, welcome to show 337 Aussie Mac Zone. 1st of June. The 1st, halfway through. There we go. No, not quite halfway through, but anyway. Zarn, how are you tonight, my friend?
I'm great, Michael. How are you?
Very, very good, thank you. Very good.
Fantastic.
Our Aussie Apple ramblings this week. So a quick shout out to Aussie Steve in Thailand, a long time listener. Zarn, how are you? Yeah.
All right.
And glad to hear you're still battling, Steve.
Well, it must be hard in Thailand, jeez.
So, hello, I just lost some lighting, but that's all right. Story number 1. Sydney's flagship Apple store reopened May 28 following renovations. 9 to 5 Mac, Apple's flagship store on George Street in Sydney, reopens following renovations that began in early January. The store is Apple's only location in Australia that did not reopen on May 7 after the COVID-19 pandemic prompted temporary store closures across the world. Apple Sydney closed on Jan 5 for upgrades to include a Today at Apple forum with a video wall for creative sessions. While the pandemic has disrupted community events for the foreseeable future, the redesign will be put to good use when live events can begin again. Other changes to the store include new fixtures and design elements like avenue shelving and a boardroom. Similar redesigned stores like Hong Kong's Causeway Bay added indoor trees. I don't believe we have yet.
No, I don't think we do.
Apple Sydney will operate with limited hours and new safety procedures already witnessed at Australia's 21 other Apple store locations. The new measures were documented by Apple in an open letter to customers last week. The reveal of Apple's Sydney's new look will mark its first redesign since the opening in 2008. An upgraded store will be an exciting improvement for customers who frequent the flagship location, but keep in mind that social distancing measures and safety precautions are still paramount at this time. You may experience a delay entering the store to browse without an appointment.
Which I accidentally had happened to me on, what day was it? Saturday?
Sunday.
Saturday, because you came over
Yeah,
Sunday.
that's right. Yeah.
So Saturday, I went into Penrith Apple Store.
Yeah.
I needed a cable for my Apple TV. And unfortunately, I didn't know that you needed to book an appointment. I got there, the line was about, 300 kilometres long. By the time I'd gone to the line, I was in Parramatta. And, there was a lady there with an iPad, and she said, "I'm sorry if you don't have an appointment, you're going to have to go over there." But the wait was so long, I couldn't do it. But she was nice enough to say, "Well, look," I was a little bit upset. I said, "How am I supposed to wait that long? I've got 3 kids. I just meant to drop into the store, grab a cable, and go home."
Yeah.
And I don't want to drop a phone off. I don't want to. All I need is a cable, and I'm out. And she was nice enough to say, "Look, I understand. Why don't you go down to JP because they sell exactly what you need." And I could go in and out, and that's exactly what I did. I said thank you to them. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to give Apple my money, and went down to JB and I bought the cable I needed from there, and in and out, like I said, and off we went. Came home, and then anyway.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yep.
Like there's that many people wanting to go.
To get into the stores.
Yeah, amazing. So what about story 2, Zarn? Do you want to read that one?
ABC's Your Money Explained newsletters we talked about a couple of weeks ago has this tidbit. If you can't hug your mum right now, a cuddle with your dog or cat or rabbit, snake, ferret, your choice, is pretty good alternative. It is. You know?
Yep.
I can't hug my mum anytime, but that's another story. Oh, death jokes. You've probably heard that many people have been panic buying pets to help get them through these tough times, social distancing. And I've watched videos where people have been buying pets and they're like, right? And of course, this is great news for pounds and shelters, which it is, again, because most people these days will prefer to buy a rescue than they would a pedigree, which is fantastic.
Yep.
But sadly, in the rush to get pets, many people are failing for puppy scams. Falling for puppy scams. The Australian Competition, Competition and Consumer Commission says in April, reports of these scams were 5 times higher than average, and collectively, people lost nearly 300,000 this year alone. Jesus, why didn't I think of this?
Because we report on it.
That's right. And I've been letting people touch my puppies, but that's, again, another story.
Yeah, that's right. And he's a cheeky one too.
Yeah, that's right. And the most common breeds, Cavadoodles and French Bulldogs. The scammers typically set up fake websites for ads on online classifieds and social media and take advantage of the fact you can't travel in person to meet the puppy. After insisting on upfront payments via money transfer, the scammer will cease all contact and the buyer is left with no puppy and less money. These aren't cheap dogs either, like breeders.
No.
Especially, a French poodle can, break a bank.
Yes. Yeah.
If you're still keen to get a pet, there are some steps you can take to try and protect yourself. Research the seller by running an internet search using the exact wording in the ad. Suggest ACC Deputy Chair
Delia Rickard, I think.
Delia Rickard, thank you.
Yep.
Do you do a reverse image search for pictures of the specific puppy, as you're likely to be dealing with a scammer if you find matching images or text on multiple websites.
Yep.
Of course, the safest way option to buy or adopt a pet, you can meet in real life. If you can do that and still follow your state's COVID-19 regulations,
yeah,
I just hope that all these pets don't get dumped when life gets back to normal. And I hope so too.
Yeah.
And it is. I know that you can still go on to the Animal Welfare League website and look at puppies. You can still go on to the local pounds and look at puppies. I say puppies, but they're rescue dogs, so they're not all 7 weeks old and things like that. These animals are 2 to 3 years old, some of them, but they still want your love just as much, if not more, because they know what it is.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I think the best way to do this is to, if you want something like that, go to the animal shelters. Yeah,
absolutely.
And that way, it's nowhere near as much as a purebred French bulldog,
Labradoodle,
or a cavoodle. Fried chicken noodle.
So now the Gates Foundation bought 500,000 Apple shares last quarter. 9 to 5 again.
Gates did.
Yeah, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation bought 501,000 shares in Apple during the first quarter of the year, reveals an SEC filing.
Wow.
The investment will already have been profitable. The exact gain made would depend on when the shares were purchased, as Apple dropped 15% in the course of the quarter, but then gained 25% in value. That's a substantial win, even if the shares were bought at their Q1 high, and even bigger if they were bought close to the low point. So, and that many shares, $10 is only going to make the difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then they just donate the profit,
Yeah.
you know, and
If you just take the profit and then keep those shares,
yeah,
like,
that's right. So we've got some games. A game.
we got 2 games.
Oh, we got 2 games.
Yeah,
Did I miss one?
must have.
All right.
So, first one is SpongeBob Patty Pursuit.
Yeah, I've even got a picture of that one. Let me have a look.
Woohoo!
That one there. Yeah, there we go.
Just a look. Hang on, I'm waiting for it to come up.
Keep talking. It'll be there in a minute.
All right, so this game was flippin', and I mean Krabby Patty, awesome. It feels like It feels like it's 1992, and I'm on my Super NES. Oh yes, see, excellent. Who doesn't love SpongeBob? By the way, I love SpongeBob. I watch it for the kids, of course. That's for you, Scotty, because I know that me and you were watching SpongeBob way before I had children. It was way before. I think we were still children. Well, you know.
They have TVs then? Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so it felt like it was 1992 when I was playing on my Super NES. It's the best game I've played so far. And I know there are some really great original games on arcade, but this game it just took me home. I was chasing coins, beating up baddies, and fighting bosses. I just needed a hypercolor T-shirt, some Kappa pants, and a pair of Reebok pumps. I would have been set. I gave the game 6 apples out of 5 because it was just that good. Like it really brought back that old video game feel. It's funny because you have to laugh at SpongeBob. Everything that happens. Every time he does something silly, he does that silly laugh, and I loved it. I haven't even played it on my Apple TV, by the way. I've only played it on my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm still that excited about it. I can't wait to get the time, hopefully this weekend, at some point, to play it on the Apple TV. And I just think it's gonna be it's definitely a winner. Well, in my book, it's definitely a winner. I think everybody that's watching should at least give it a turn.
Yeah.
If you were into gaming in the 90s, and then you're going to be into this.
Okay.
And game 2. It's called Round Guard. I have to admit, I haven't played much of this game. I really haven't had the time this week to do much of it all, except for get the stuff that I really needed to get done. But what I had seen it was a little fun time wasting on the train or waiting for the bus. You could just have a quick go, and you could level up pretty quickly, and you sort of just it's a muck around, fun little. You sort of got to try your best to get out of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And you're also fighting baddies and blowing stuff up at the same time. I'm not going to give this any apples or anything like that until I've really played it for longer. But I just thought, considering that it grabbed my attention after just playing it for a little bit, that I'd give it an honourable mention.
Yeah.
And we will come back once I've got a bit more time. So that's Round Guard. I don't even know who's made it. That's how I was rushed off my feet when I wrote this. And
okay.
So, yep. But that's Round Guard, and check it out. It's like it's set like on stage, so it's like Shakespearean, and then you've got to do these. You're in a cannon, and you got to do these tricks, and you blow up clay pots, and bashing bad guy goblins, and things like that. So it's quite neat.
Excellent.
I really liked it. So that's gaming. We got some entertainment stuff.
Yeah. So Apple orders
G'day,
Hedy
David,
Lamar.
Kellyanne, and Scott. How you all doing?
Hi, y'all. Apple orders Hedy Lamar, starring and executive produced by Gail Godot. Yeah.
Godot.
Where are we up to? We're up to there. So there's a picture of Gail Godot, and there's a picture of Hedy Lamar. They'll be up in a second. So Apple has given a straight-to-series order to Hedy Lamarr, a new 8-episode limited series starring and executive produced by Gal Gadot. So she's from the Wonder Woman franchise. Written and executive produced by Golden Globe Award winner Sarah Treem. The Affair, House of Cards, In Treatment. Hailed as the most beautiful woman in the world, Hedy Lamarr was first exalted and iconised, then destroyed, and eventually forgotten by American audiences. All the while...
So Gal Gadot is playing her, is she?
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow, that's excellent.
Yeah, so she was destroyed and eventually forgotten by American audiences, all the while keeping her brilliant mind active through a series of inventions, one of which became the basis for the spread spectrum technology we use today. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, the series will follow the incredible life story of the Hollywood glamour girl, spanning 30 years from Hedy's daring escape from pre-war Vienna to her meteoric rise in the golden age of Hollywood, to her fall and eventual disgrace at the dawn of the Cold War, an epic tale of an immigrant woman both ahead of her time and very much a victim to it. Hedy Lamarr's children, Anthony Loder and Denise DeLuca, are consulting on the series as well.
Oh, very cool.
So that's going to be one to look forward to. And I hope they can start making it soon. That'll be good.
So, how about Apple TV now include all classic Fraggle Rock episodes?
Yeah, so we put the Fraggle Rock picture back up.
Orders are full. So there's a reboot, as we've talked about this before.
Yeah, because I missed out seeing some of the episodes.
Yeah,
and I've managed to catch up now.
Yeah, and so exactly, and so now they're the Fraggle Rock, so you can get all the classic episodes. Well, I used to love this as a kid; it was one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I love Fraggle Rock. So more from 9 to 5 Mac. Apple TV Plus is said to have brought rights to the full back catalogue of Fraggle Rock, comprising of about 100 episodes of the live-action puppet show originally owned by HBO. Oh, I didn't know that. Have we read that before? Apple has already founded a short set of Fraggle Rock on Shorts and is now taking that relationship further. In addition to full back catalogue of Fraggle Rock, Apple is ordering a season reboot of the show with full-length episodes. Woohoo!
Yeah, because they've been shown that the episodes we've been watching have only been short.
Yeah,
because they've been done basically when everyone's at home.
That's right. Yeah,
based on being at home, like this fake like Zoom type thing that one of the guys came up with. So yeah, really clever.
Yeah, and so Vulture says the newly acquired Fraggle Rock episodes will start streaming on Apple TV as soon as this week, which is awesome.
That's the best way, because they can buy the old catalogue. They just start playing straight
so
away.
Apple TV Plus, and like I said, I loved Fraggle Rock as a kid. I thought it was just so cool.
Yep.
So I'll happily watch this again, and we have been with the kids. We love it. Dance around and carry on. The news comes on the heels of Bloomberg reporting that Apple was buying up a back catalogue of content to support its previous all-original streaming service. However, Vulture reports that Apple's programming strategy remains largely unchanged from the all-original premise. Apple is supposedly not looking to buy up reams of content and is only making secret deals where it makes sense. Oh, select deals, sorry. Select deals where it makes sense. Why secret deals?
Well, they'd be doing those anyway.
Yeah, I know. Where it makes sense, like getting the back catalogue of a show when they order a reboot. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So a little bit more entertainment as well. I haven't got a chance to write it up, but The Boys we watch on Apple TV. It's called Go Noodle.
Yeah.
And it's one of the apps you can just get for your Apple TV. And you go into Go Noodle, and it's got like Pokemon yoga and or like just dancing, and you can dance to like "Achy Breaky Heart," and they show you a boot scoot. You can dance to Justin Timberlake songs. You can dance to New Kids on the Block. You can dance to a whole bunch of other stuff. It's really cool. That we dance around the lounge room to, and so it's called Go Noodle. It's one of the apps you can get on Apple TV, and it's just got, if your kids love to jump around the lounge room and dance, and you want them to get a little bit of exercise, but they're reluctant, but they love to dance, this is definitely the way.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have a ball doing this, and it's a good bit of a workout for mum and dad as well. Excellent. If you're that way inclined, if you get up and dance with your kids. Yeah. I know I do. I've been known to shake a tail feather or two. So, go Noodle. Check it out if you got kids, sort of from the age of 10 back.
Excellent.
Should get into it. There's teenagers dancing and stuff like that, but I think by that age, if you're not already a dancer, you're probably just going to be Yeah.
So,
what's this say? How-to updates.
Yeah. So, how to update the firmware on your AirPods. Apple has released a new firmware version for the AirPods Pro. The company doesn't currently offer a list of changes present in the firmware. It also doesn't currently provide a way to manually update the firmware on AirPods or AirPods Pro, opting instead for an automatic update process. But Apple won't just install a firmware update willy-nilly. If your AirPods died in middle of the update because it was flat, for example, it could cause all sorts of problems. Ugh. So you're going to have to do the following, and then I made a change to this a little bit. So use the AirPods to listen to music or a podcast for at least 30 seconds. Put the AirPods into the charging case and close the lid. That's important. The lid must be closed during the entire process. If it is opened at any time, it interrupts the update and it will need to start over. Use the lightning cable to connect the charging case to power and wait 30 minutes. Reconnect the AirPods to the iOS or iPad device that they are paired with, and then check the firmware version again by going to Settings, General, About. Scroll down, you'll see the section just on AirPods. If the version shown still isn't the latest version listed above, repeat the process. It's that sort of pain in the neck thing. Yep. And you should try and keep your phone close to the AirPods case the whole time. Don't go too far away.
Yep. What about mine? Mine aren't Pro. And the older version.
Basically the same process. Yep. The current version for the older ones, which you can look up when you're connected on your phone, is 6.8.8. So cool. As of today, that's the most current one. Right. Yeah, so we've also got another how-to.
Yeah, help mail, help you.
That's right.
Mail rules can handle many of your email messages. Before you even see them, automatically file newsletters to read later, archive messages you don't need to review but want to keep, all without lifting a finger. To get started, open the rules screen of the mail preference and click Add Rule. Make the rules. Every mail rule has two parts: the conditions when the rule should apply and the action the rule takes. Create a condition for a particular person, like your boss, only people in your contacts or messages with PDF attached. This is the first time I have seen this in the App Store, and it is great.
Yeah,
that was written by you.
That's right. It was I was
Mark.
just at the App Store to have a look for something, and I saw this straight away, and it's like it's called a full App Store preview.
Yeah.
And it walks you through some steps, gives you some examples, and then I was there today, and there was another one for apps for kids to use at school.
Yep.
So they're obviously, it's all done by the people internal. It's not like special advertising or anything like that. So I thought it was really cool.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then I've got to go to story 4. There we go. go back to there. So, further to the this is an update for this app is no longer shared. iOS bug preventing some apps from opening, which we reported last week.
That's right, we did.
Yeah. An app bug is causing some iOS users to be unable to open their apps, with affected iPhone and iPad users seeing message that this app is no longer shared. So, that's what we reported last week. But Apple took action on Sunday, May 24, and as Forbes contributor Kate O'Flaherty reported, another mysterious set of circumstances arose. Many Apple users suddenly noticed that apps were updating on their phone in far larger numbers than usual.
Yeah.
Scores, sometimes hundreds of apps were updating at once. That's only if they had set their device to automatically update apps. Those who didn't instead saw a clutch of apps suddenly showing as pending. Essentially, what Apple was doing was the same as those users had deleted and reinstalled the app. The update was overriding the previous version with no discernible difference or improvement, apart from the fact that the clash with the family sharing system was now resolved.
Yeah, because I had about, yesterday when I opened my phone, was it the day before? It was either Saturday or Sunday when I opened my phone. I had probably, 6 to 8 apps all just updating at once.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it happen before. They just all went, and yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah. And the best part is they can update, like it doesn't have to put the whole app in.
Yep.
Because they can update just the bit that was updated.
Yep. Yeah, it was quite quick.
Yeah.
But they did just a whole bunch. And I've got most of my apps all in little, boxes and stuff because I don't like my phone to be too messy.
Yeah.
It bothers me. I'm a bit OCD like that. I just, they've all got to be in a certain place. And so I just found, my box should be shadowed and it was updating, 3 or 4 different apps. And then the other box was shadowed and it was doing that again. And then another box shadowed and it did that. And, it took a minute or two, but it wasn't, to me, I don't use a lot of apps anyway. I don't have hundreds of apps on my phone.
Hundreds of games, not hundreds of apps.
Yeah, that's the difference. So it took a few minutes, but it was no big bother.
Yeah. So it's not really an update. It's more a repeat install.
Yeah, that's right. So we're just trying to help out.
Yeah, the cause is still unclear. Though, as 9 to 5 pointed out, it was likely down to a signing issue, which made the apps behave as though they were paid downloads, which had suddenly lost the right to be shared.
Yep.
Now, TechCrunch says that the issue has now been resolved for all affected customers. No more details have been shared, but the fast action was necessary so users didn't blame the app developers for a problem for which they were blameless. So if you're still getting the issue and disturbing no longer shared message, the solution is straightforward. Go to the App Store on your iPhone or iPad, tap the Apple ID icon on the top right, leads you to your account, and check out if you have pending updates. Or go to the App Store and get the updates there. There may be more than you'd expect. Just click Update All and you're golden.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right. So also, as you were over yesterday, I was trying to sort out the little dilemma I had with the Apple TV.
Yep.
Which, when you were here, really was no dilemma. And then you left and it happened again.
That's because I scare Apple devices.
You really do. He's laughing, but I honestly think it's true. No word of a lie, I've had problems with my phone or problems with my iPad, problems with my Apple TV, problems with my, my MacBook Air. And I'll go, this is happening. Show me. And so I show him, and it doesn't happen. And there's nothing wrong. And then it doesn't happen again. It just happens to me. And I don't know what he's like the Apple whisperer. They see it and they're like, no, we're fine. It's okay. Don't let him touch us. And it's like, if we had a doll, they'd be able to show us where. Like,
my best story about that is back in the old video cassette days.
Yep.
There was this video player that wouldn't work. Every time they took it in the store, it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
So they took the lid off, put a Polaroid photo of the technician inside the machine. It worked forever. Stuck the Polaroid inside on the lid of the machine. It worked forever.
That's fantastic. Anyhow, then we left and started doing it again. And so what it was doing, it was coming up. And now, if you've got a Apple TV with the 4K,
Apple TV.
Apple TV,
Yeah,
all right, Apple TV,
yep.
And it says that your HD. Anyway, it's saying that your HDMI cable is incompatible. It's saying that there's not enough data, or it's not compatible with the data that you're running.
We're not talking about download speeds or anything. It's saying that the cable isn't fast enough, supposedly.
Yeah, the cable isn't fast enough. We're not talking about download speeds or anything like that. It's just the cable isn't fast enough. And so it happened again when we left, and I'm like, it's got to be a solution to this. And I hate to admit this, but Kellyanne said, double-click that button, and you can swipe the...
basically swipe the apps closed.
Yeah, swipe the apps closed. And I asked Michael if we could do this. He didn't know. I didn't know. And so we both just thought, no, it probably just automatically closes. It's not the same as your phone or your iPad or anything like that.
And we were wrong.
And we were wrong. Kellyanne was right. So if she's watching, Kellyanne, you're right. I know she's not, so I can say it. And so anyway, I double-click this button, and fair enough, up they pop. And so I swipe away all the apps, and I mean, everything was open because I was going through it, looking at the Apple TV to try to find out what was wrong. And so I closed all these apps down, and I just left the Apple TV screen, and it worked perfectly after that. And so now, once I use an app and I go to get out of it, I double click and I shut it down, and it works perfectly every time. So if you're having these issues, please, it's just the TV button. There's the picture of the TV on it. Double click it. It'll show you, and then you can swipe the apps away, and so you're not using as much data.
You just swipe them up like you do on your phone.
That's right. Swipe them up. Oh. So Kellyanne was watching. I'm wrong. And she says, make sure you keep this recording forever, Dad.
I just saw that come up, yes.
Yep. Oh, dear.
I'll just put it on a loop like I did the other day for the kids.
That's right, yeah.
Kellyanne was right. Kellyanne was right.
Kellyanne was right. I've got to go to bed now, like later, and
so
I'm not going to hear the end of it. Anyway, back to the story at hand.
No, so that fixed your Apple TV, which was great.
It did fix it,
and we learned something, which is
we did learn something. So thank you, Kellyanne. Yeah. I don't know why I'm looking at my phone and talking to her. It's just a force of habit, I guess. Yeah. So that's how to do that. It's not in the notes, but look, if I get a chance, I'll put them in there. Story 5.
Yeah, iPhone 11 now the world's most popular smartphone as it surpasses the iPhone XR.
Woohoo!
9 to 5 Mac again. New data released by Omdia today says that the iPhone 11 has usurped the crown of being the world's most popular smartphone with the iPhone XR. According to the data, Apple shipped 19.5 million iPhone 11 units during the first quarter of the year.
My goodness.
Now, usurped means, because I had to look it up what it meant, USURPED,
yep.
to seize and hold a position, office, power, etc. by force.
Yep.
So the iPhone 11 has taken over by force from the iPhone XR. So the report explains that despite the impact of COVID-19, Q1 2020 iPhone 11 shipments were 6 million units higher than Q1 2019 shipments for the XR. I know, it's just numbers are extraordinary.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, now what about...
Story 6?
Yeah, please.
All right. Grandmother ordered to delete Facebook photos under GDPR. the European privacy laws. A woman must delete photographs of her grandchildren that she posted on Facebook and Pinterest without their parents, sorry, without their parents' permission. A court in the Netherlands has ruled to end up in court after a falling out between the woman and daughter. The judge ruled that the matter was within the scope of the UE's General Data Protection Regulations, GDPR. One expert said that the ruling reflected the position that the European Court has taken over many years. The case went to court after the woman refused to delete photographs of her grandchildren, which she had posted on social media. The mother of the children had asked several times for the pictures to be deleted. The GDPR does not apply to the purely personal or household processing of data. However, the exemption did not apply because posting photographs on social media made them available to a wider audience, the ruling said.
That's right.
With Facebook, it cannot be ruled out that placed photos may be distributed and may end up in the hands of third parties, it said. The woman must remove the photos or pay a fine of €50 or £45 for every, so it's $90, I think, Australian.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. For every day that she fails to comply with the order, up to the maximum fine of $1,000.
€1,000.
Yeah, €1,000, so around $2,000.
Yeah.
If she posts more images of the children in the future, she will be fined an extra €50 a day. I think the ruling will surprise a lot of people who probably don't think too much before they tweet or post photos, said Neil Brown, a technology lawyer and Decoded Legal.
Irrespective of the
legal position, would it be reasonable for people who've posted those photos to think, well, he or she doesn't want them out there anymore? It's just fair enough. We don't post any real new photos of the boys or anything like that. I've got some photos of, sort of 3 years ago or so that if they pop up, I'm happy to repost. They're already there anyway and stuff like that. But we don't really post photos of the boys too much. We'd rather just share them with family and stuff. I don't know. I'm a little bit funny about having the boys on the interwebs when they can be used as third-party property.
Yes. Yeah.
So, story 7.
And the parents did ask the grandmother to take the pictures down.
They did. I've done the same thing before. And I've asked people to take photos of our kids down, just because, again, I don't post photos of my children, so please don't do so. I don't, they can be used as third-party property, and I'm not really okay with that. So yeah.
Yeah, and like the grandmother's still got the photos. The grandmother can still share them, not on Facebook. It's not on social media, but she can still show her friends. This is what these are my grandkids. So.
Yep, and to anybody that, sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable again. Oh, these chairs are killing my back. To anybody that they, you want to see, I'm sure you've got their number. You can just send them in a text.
Yeah, that's right. So, Twitter labels Trump's tweets with a fact check for the first time.
Yes.
The action comes after years of criticism. Social media companies have allowed the president to push misinformation unchecked. Twitter on Tuesday slapped a fact-check label on President Trump's tweets for the first time. A response to long-standing criticism that the company is too hands-off when it comes to policing misinformation and falsehood from world leaders.
Yeah. When they say world leaders, they mean Trump. They don't mean any other world leader. They just mean Trump.
The move, which escalates tensions between Washington and Silicon Valley in an election year, was made in response to two Trump tweets over the past 24 hours. The tweets falsely claimed that mail-in ballots were fraudulent. Twitter's label says, "Get the facts about mail-in ballots," and redirects users to news articles about Trump's unsubstantiated claim. The tweets, said Twitter spokesperson Katie Roseborough, contain potentially misleading information about voting processes and have been labelled to provide additional context around mail-in ballots. The label directs users to articles by CNN, The Washington Post and The Hill, along with selections from articles and page summaries summarising the findings of fact-checkers. Just before I go on, it's interesting listening to some of the ABC's news when they get a fact checker. They hear a comment not only by Trump but by everybody, and they get a fact checker to actually give you the correct information. It's very interesting to hear them sometimes.
I like that too.
Now, Twitter's action quickly drew backlash from Trump and his supporters.
Yes, it did.
Twitter is now interfering with the 2020 president election, the president tweeted. They are saying my statement on mail-in ballots, which will lead to massive corruption and fraud, is incorrect, based on fact-checking by fake news, CNN, and Amazon's Washington Post, because the Washington Post is owned by the Amazon. It's not an Argentinian Washington Post in the Amazon. It's
written on bark. They use the blood of rats.
So, now, for its 14-year existence, Twitter has allowed misinformation by world leaders and everyday citizens to spread virtually unchecked.
Yep.
Its leaders have long said users would engage in debate on the platform and correct false information on their own. But Trump has made many false claims on social media, particularly on his preferred medium of Twitter, and has also attacked people in ways that critics have argued could violate company policies on harassment and bullying. Mm-hmm. And you can read more at the Washington Post.
Yeah, he also, when all this came out, he said he retweeted very quickly. He goes, "I'm going to have Twitter shut down."
Yeah.
That was taken down. I don't know if you can see that anymore. But, he retweeted very quickly after that. He goes, "I'm going to have Twitter shut down."
Yeah.
And I thought that was so good. Like, oh my God, then.
But he did have he did try to do a presidential decree or something to do with the business Yeah,
he did, but it didn't work.
So, it's a bit interesting.
Suck it, Trump.
And like that.
Anyway.
That's where he does most of his advertising.
Yeah.
He tweets all the time.
I know. It's the worst, though. It's the worst. Some of the stuff he says is crazy.
He can say whatever he likes.
He can say whatever he likes. He's a leader of the free world.
But you just got to understand, he doesn't necessarily know what he's talking about.
I know. No, that's right. He can say whatever he wants. It doesn't mean we have to believe it. But his followers love it, though.
That's right.
I think they honestly think it's like a daytime drama.
Yeah.
Like they just love the audacity of him, but it's not. He's really a leader. Like he's just insane.
But when he tweets things like about taking the malaria drug, I'm happy that he's taking the malaria drug, and I'm happy to tell everybody that it's a possibility of making things better, but also tell them the things that can go wrong. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, and look, he had no medical, he had no proof. And we still don't. Like, yes, they're testing it, but if the people that are testing it don't know yet, then you don't know either.
Yeah.
Because they've got a lot more experience in this stuff than he does.
So,
there's a joke I say with Matt. The other day they were talking about books that they want people to read. And I'm like, what about, Trump's written a few books. And he quickly responded with, no, he didn't. Which is right. He didn't write the books. He had someone write them for him.
Yeah.
And he basically just, rattled off some quotes, gave them information. They wrote the book as a ghostwriter, and now they're books by Donald Trump.
Well, we believe so.
We joke about it all
We
the time.
believe so.
Yeah, well, that's what I heard. This is fake news. But we joke about it all the time. Like, who are great authors? That, and they're like, what's some of the best-selling books of all time? The other day, and I said Jamie Oliver's done pretty well. And this is an English staff room. It doesn't go down too well. So yeah. Anyway, enough of bagging out Trump. I can do it all day.
Apple releases macOS Catalina 10.15.5 with new battery health management feature. Now, this all goes back to Apple getting into trouble for, quote, fiddling with batteries on the earlier iPhones. And it's basically a lot of people leave their laptops plugged in to a display all the time. And doing that isn't any good for your battery. So what they do is basically they'll move it up and down. They won't charge it to 100% and leave it 24 hours a day at 100% because it's all bad for your battery.
Yep.
So Apple last week, thanks to 9 to 5, Apple last week released macOS Catalina 10.15.5. This update brings a new feature to improve the lifespan of Mac notebooks' battery, besides bug fixes and performance improvers. The biggest change in 10.15.5 is a new battery health management feature. The goal of the change is to reduce the chemical aging of MacBook's battery and extend its lifespan, but without compromising battery life. Here's how Apple describes the feature. The battery health management feature in 10.15.5 is designed to improve your battery's lifespan by reducing the rate at which it chemically ages. The feature does this by monitoring your battery's temperature, history, and its charging patterns. Based on the measurements that it collects, battery health management may reduce your battery's maximum charge when in this mode. This happens as needed to ensure that your battery charges to a level that's optimized for your usage, reducing wear on the battery and slowing its chemical aging. Today's update also fixes an issue where large data transfers to RAID volumes could cause a Finder to become unresponsive. Also, like our iOS, a FaceTime prominence preference, an option to control automatic prominence of Facebook FaceTime calls. Group FaceTime calls. Where did I get Facebook from? Group FaceTime calls so video tiles not to change size when a participant speaks. Yeah. So just getting back to the battery.
Yeah.
If you are one of the people that actually tend to leave it connected to a display or leave it plugged in all the time, you just turn this option on and it'll help save your battery. And you can turn it off if you don't want to do that. You can turn it off. Also,
I probably charge mine every 3 days.
Yeah.
I'm using it all the time, but I don't like to leave it on charge.
Yeah, but if people, for example, have the battery management on, but know that they're going to be going away and taking their laptop with them, for example, they may want to turn it off so that it does charge to 100% before they go.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just one of those things.
Stupid thing.
So we're up to show promotion.
Yeah.
Show notes link each week on your show upload. The link being
AussieMacZone.com.au/AMZ 337/. There you will see the last 6 weeks of show notes.
You can email us, Michael, and I'll talk about that one second. Michael or Zarn at AussieMacZone.com.au. Now, we've actually had an email from someone, and they were asking about a product that we reviewed about 2 or 3 years ago, and there's not really the software is not available in the Apple App Store.
Yeah.
But you can still get this device to work properly, fully by using the web interface for the device, and it actually tells you that. So yeah, so we've actually had an email. We've actually had 2 emails on that subject in the last sort of 6 weeks. So.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, on the same device, so from different people.
So you can find us on Spotify. Just search Aussie Mac Zone.
Yeah.
And Apple News.
Aussie Mac Zone. I put a couple of stories up this week.
Yep. You can find us on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Google Podcasts.
Yeah.
And most importantly, sorry.
We'd like to thank our supporters. That's you, our listeners.
That's right. The most important people.
Yep.
And over to Zarn for the sign-off, please, sir.
Thank you. I'd just like to say a few words. Please stay safe in the States.
Yes.
It's so chaotic over there. We understand that Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely.
And we're sending our deepest heart thoughts. I wish we could do more.
Yep.
But please, I know it's a troubled time, but try to stay safe. Remember, guys, Apple Day keeps the androids away. Stay strong.